Hello, everybody. My name is Johanna Virtanen, and I worked at Infinity Fiber company in various project development activities aiming to scale up and commercialize Infinity Fiber technology. And I have here today Sini Ilmonen and Traci Kinden. Sini Ilmonen is a circular economy specialist from the municipal waste management company in Finland, Lounais-Suomen Jätehuolto. And Traci is the founder of REvolve Waste, and she specializes in textile waste, recycling technologies, and circularity. I hand it over to you if you want to say a few things about yourself.
I've worked in textile waste and recycling in one form or another for the past approximately 7 years. I'm American, learned initially what post-consumer textile waste and recycling was all about, living and working in the US, and I've since moved to the Netherlands, so now I'm working on this issue on both continents. I focus mainly on waste materials flows research and the compatibility of that waste with recycling technologies. And really what REvolve aims to do is develop the data, the insights, and the connections to drive a circular textile system.
Perfect. And I'm Sini Ilmonen, and thank you, Johanna, for the invitation. I've been working with circularity of textiles around 5 years at the moment, all the time in the municipal waste point of view. And I'm also co-founder of Telaketju network, which collects actors and projects of who are working in this field together to do collaboration.
That sounds very interesting. And we are here today to talk about, as you probably figure out, about textile waste. And I think it would be very good to understand in the beginning that where we are, like how much about those volumes and collection rates and what really happens to the different streams of textile waste.
In Finland, the amount of textile waste is still estimations, and the calculations that we based or our volume knowledge is made in 2012, so the numbers start to be a little bit old. Yeah. But still on that time we estimated that roughly in Finland we discard textiles around 13 kilos per person every year. I know in EU the average the same number is around 22 kilos per person, so it's quite a lot. Happily, I know that in Baltic countries it's only 5 kilos per person, and I think that's something we should aiming for. But I think the number is even increasing all the time, and now we are actually updating the numbers with the Finnish Environment Institute and Turku University of Applied Sciences. So hopefully during this year we are going to have updated numbers related on that as well.
I think the other area, the other region that's that has available and credible statistics on the post-consumer waste generated per person is the United States or North America. There's not 100% clarity on whether the figures reported by the EPA actually include some of the numbers from Canada, but basically, if you look at the 2013 statistics, which are the most comparable to what Sini has cited, it's around 35 kilo per person that wind up in the municipal solid waste stream. So it's, that's not a consumption figure, that's actually a total waste generated figure. The last numbers that I saw from Europe were about 20%. This is the European Environment Agency, I think, reported a 20% diversion rate on textiles, clothing, footwear, household items. But the United States in the same period was only 15%, 14.75%. And that number is actually going down in terms of diversion of, percentage diversion of the total waste. So from everything that I've seen, North Americans specifically tend to generate more waste per capita, and we recycle or divert from landfill and incineration significantly less per capita. So, if you look at Europe and North America in terms of opportunities to do better with post-consumer textile waste specifically, definitely an opportunity there.
in Finland, we have been working for this comprehensive system already from 2016, 15, 16, and under this Telaketju network. And we see that it includes the collection, pre-sorting, and quality assurance, and then like a mechanical fiber opening or other kind of treatments, and then there's recycling. And in Finland, we need loads of collaboration during that system, and also many organizations has to be involved. We are organizing the collection of post-consumer textiles. Of course, it's the small portion of the whole amount of textile waste, but I'm talking about post-consumer textiles. We are organizing the collection with all the municipal waste companies in Finland. Then all the companies in their area, they are going to organize also the pre-sorting. What does it mean? We know that the textiles get ruined or spoiled really easily if there's a one wet textile in the collection bin. The whole portion, the whole batch can get mold, for example. So that's why it's really important that we get everything that can spoil the whole portion, whole batch, really as soon as possible. When it's pre-sorted, then they're going to send the pre-sorted textiles to us, to Southwest Finland, and we do the quality checking before it goes to shredding, the mechanical fiber opening, or we treat it in other way. And we are actually investing in this mechanical fiber opening line in Finland, and it's going to be it start operating beginning of next year. So we saw that we in Finland, and actually maybe in whole Europe, we are missing this kind of machinery which can open the fibers and give it to or sell it to companies to do the development work. Of course, they are opening lines, but they are doing kind of closed loop solutions. But we would like to do the open loop solutions so that we enable companies to do the development work.
Yeah, that sounds fascinating. And when it's all open up like that, and obviously there are companies like Infinity Fiber where we can utilize the waste, but then there are others as well who are able to utilize those fibers.
That's an important part of the infrastructure and development of circular textiles that we need to understand, and that's that it's not really one technology or one solution that's going to solve the challenge. If you look at textile waste across the board, we'll talk in the context of post-consumer textile waste across the board, there are fibers in there that are very compatible with Infinited Fibers technology, and there are fibers in there that are not. And so in order to make recovery and diversion and recycling feasible from an economic perspective, there need to be solutions for all of those fibers. So the infrastructure that Sini is talking about in terms of being able to bring to source separate materials, to bring materials to one place, and work on what I call waste to feedstock conversion and aggregation of different types of fibers is a really important piece of the infrastructure, and aggregation of different types of fibers but grouped like with like. If you look at a range of different types of technologies, the work that Sini and her team are doing, the fiber sort technology, Tomra's technology, as well as others, they're really working on how do we do that sortation piece, how do we get waste sorted into feedstocks. And so that's really important. I think one of the interesting differences between what's happening in Europe and what's happening in the US, for example, is that the European Union is offering a lot of grant funding and subsidy and really putting some power behind policy to make a shift from waste and a linear system into something different, into more recycling. On the North American side, there's a lot of desire on the part of many to do better with waste and recycling. But the drivers at this point in time are largely market-based. And I think one of the big challenges that will be seen in the US specifically, it may be a little bit different in Canada because they've got some different policy happening there, but one of the big challenges I think is going to be purely market-driven solutions to make circular textiles happen is not really, potentially not the way to fund infrastructure development.
And when even we have the whole infrastructure and we have the perfect fiber, recycled fiber, and we have the perfect product, recycled product, we need the markets. So that's something that we need to create. Also, we need to raise awareness, and I hope the decision makers and legislators put the effort that it's easier to bring the recycled materials and products to the markets, and make some funding or subsidized systems to support the market creation.
Yeah, that actually leads me to my question about the different kind of roles, what the different participants can take when we talk about the textile industry, the brands or the fiber, the fabric, the garment producers, or the NGOs, the governments, consumers. What kind of roles and what could they do more? Or who do you see is not the most active?
I think the good news generally is that there is a very strong desire to collaborate and get some progress to actually happen. Even, you know, we are in a world that is being heavily influenced by pandemic, and still the sustainability conversation is continuing forward in textiles. I think that's very encouraging. I think it's everybody's job really to collaborate. I have some specific thoughts and insights based on things other people have shared with me, and some of my own ideas around what especially brands and retailers can do. But I'll let Sini comment on some things before I go too far into it.
What we are doing at the moment, as I explained, our collection, the comprehensive collection system we are doing in Finland. We are inviting brands and retailers to join the collection. We have this Kamu collection concept that we are developing at the moment, and it allows the stores and second-hand stores and other kind of collectors to join and put the collection pin in their store, and then we take care of the logistics and the utilization of the textile materials. On that way, we can offer easy way for the consumers that the collection pin is nearby the customers, and also easy way for the brands and stores when they just have the collection point, and of course the knowledge to tell what's going to happen after the consumer brings their textiles to the collection, and then we take the municipals takes care of the rest.
Yeah, no, that's kind of sounds very, very useful, very interesting. And Traci, did you have some more ideas for the brands and retailers? That would be interesting to hear. I think we have time for one more question for you.
Sure. I think we alluded to it in the previous part of the conversation, but I just want to reiterate that systemic change at this level really takes collaboration. It takes policy. It takes market pull as well. And I think it's very easy for us to, wherever we are in the system, for us to say, well, it's this party's responsibility to do this, and it's this party's responsibility to do that. But the reality is we all have a role. I think as the brand and retailer role, there are a couple of things that are really, really important. The first thing is to create durable product. I understand that that's not everybody's business model. That's okay. But I think moving forward, there will be a role in every viable brand and retailer product line for some level of durable product, because that will enable us to incorporate reuse in some form, whether that's rental and leasing models or secondhand resale in store. It will enable that to happen more readily, and it can decrease that waste figure and thereby increase the amount of diversion, because there's just less textile waste flying around. So generally creating more durable product is really important. Incorporating reuse in some form into business as usual, maybe not completely, but into business as usual as a component for brands and retailers. And then pay really close attention to what's going into product. 100% content, always a win from a recycling perspective. Not always a win, or not always possible from a performance perspective, so noted. But if blended fibers are a part of the lineup, there are a couple of things to remember. One is, if it's a poly cotton blend with nothing else, there are recycling technologies that are either commercialized or nearly commercialized that can handle those blends. Or polyester and some sort of man-made cellulosic like lyocell or viscose. So those sorts of materials can be recycled easily today, or with technology that's coming. Minimizing the amount of elastane is really important. Elastane is an immediate disqualifier for some recycling technologies. So that's an important thing to remember. And then keeping things like nylon and acrylic and metallic yarns, keeping those out of cotton, polyester, and polycotton blends will increase the potential for recycling of those materials. So, I mean, just generally, in terms of building product, that's important. But I think the one thing that everybody on the brand and retailer side needs to be doing right now is buying recycled fiber. Because without the market pull for the products that Sini's company is starting to develop, without the market pull to signal that it's okay to invest in recycling technologies and infrastructure, the shift won't happen. So the top thing are those 4 things.
That's very good. That's very good. I think that gives us a nice ending, and I will thank you for your time and the interesting discussion we had, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.